All right. And good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And want to welcome everybody to the show today. This is Sherman Ray. I'm your host for Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We come to you each and every morning, generally, Monday through Friday, about 8:30 in the morning, about 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We talk about the people, the places, trends, topics, all from a Black success perspective. And today is no different. We've got some interesting things on the show today. If you would like to check us out, folks, you'd like to check out more of the stuff that we're doing for Black Success Magazine, just go to our website. Excuse me. blacksuccessmagazine.com. If you would like to send me an email or you'd like to, just converse with me offline, you can always send it to info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on your Alexa smart speaker on Apple Podcasts. And today we're going to talk about making decisions. So in our third block, we're going to be talking about making decisions because sometimes it's tough. Some people have a really tough time making decisions. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So hopefully everybody's been good. We're doing awesome here in Vegas. We're experiencing wonderful weather, which is always cool, which means that we had fall, winter, and summer all in 1 week. Yeah, the weather kind of goes up and down, up and down. Even today's the same thing. Today, start out the morning, 30 degrees. It'll probably be 80 by the time we're done with this broadcast. So amazing. We've been people have been writing into us, talking to us about our setup right now, and that I seem to have a mess behind me. Well, it's not that I have a mess behind me. It's just we're moving around things here in the office, and I just haven't had time to clean up this clutter back here. A lot of stuff, tax time's coming up, so I got a lot of paperwork all over the place. Also, we are still working on Las Vegas Speaks. So I had a meeting yesterday with one of our executive producers about it. So folks, be looking out for that. We're really excited about the launch of that. We're actually, excuse me, something in my throat there. We've almost got, we're almost halfway there with all the sponsorships for it. We'd like to get that all the way done. If you'd like to check us out for Las Vegas Speaks, you know what? I got the email address. Yeah, send me an email at info@LasVegasSpeaks. Really, we're Las Vegas Speaks, especially if you want to get the word out about your business or something like that. Just send me an email, and we'll get you more info on Las Vegas Speaks. Let's start out the broadcast today. Really interesting story. This is a story about many of you have probably heard of Coming to America. Excuse me, got something in my throat here. Let me wash that down a little bit. Many of you probably heard about Coming to America, Eddie Murphy's movie. Well, it's set up in a place that is called Zamunda. And this is pretty cool. Zamunda is the palace for Zamunda, the place where Eddie Murphy's home supposed to be at. So it's not that far-fetched to know that they're actually don't, film this in Africa someplace, but it's actually done in Atlanta, Georgia. But the house, guess who owns the house? And I'm going to show you a picture of the house. The house, it's a 45,000 square foot house, and the rapper Rick Ross actually owns his house. That's the house right there, folks. Is that amazing or what? This is an amazing home that Rick Ross owns this place. It's set on 230 acres. 235 acres. It's a 45,000 square foot palatial home. Rick Ross, the rapper, owns that home in Georgia, just outside of Georgia. And the guy who owned the house before that was Evander Holyfield. Yeah, Evander, the real deal Holyfield. And why do we bring this up? Well, because you know what? I am a firm believer that people in America, Black people in America, need to see something like this. That this guy created this domain for himself. It's his home. It's his private home. Okay, this isn't like my winter home. This is the home that brother comes to every day, sitting on 235 acres. Okay, that's to me that to me speaks volumes, doesn't it? I mean, that is to me is just an awesome sight to see that home that Rick Ross lives in. Yeah, I just I just don't know if you can. I just don't know if you can stop that. I mean, that's pretty cool. So we wanted to bring that to you to show. I know, isn't it cool? Um, you can have that home. I've always dreamed about having a home sitting on 100 acres or so, something like that. And I thought you'd want to see that. It's just, to me, it's just one of the greatest stories. There was another story about a referee in, she is from, her name is Maya Chaka. And Maya owns, if she's, now there's been recently a rash of people becoming referees and moving into positions that you normally don't see a lot of women in, and especially women of color. The Super Bowl had a new referee, and it was a white lady, blonde-haired lady. But we've got our first black woman referee in the NFL, and her name is Maya. And so there she is. And so her name is Maya Chaka. She's a graduate from Norfolk State University, made history by becoming the first black referee in since 1920. The first black woman referee in the NFL, and since the 1920 founding of the league. This is amazing. And so Maya's just excited about it. I mean, she's excited about becoming, just moving up the ladder. But once again, and I think this coincides with the International Women's Day, which is just, we were talking about that Monday, where we're talking about some of the great things that women do in, and this is just another one of those things. So I'm very excited for it. And also, I didn't, this wasn't on my list, but I want to go over to this story because this woman, okay, her name is, let me get her name first. This is from Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Mushia Shinkuka, okay, which is a tough, Sikuka. Okay, I destroyed your name. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the story. Okay, the story, she is a mogul and she develops wigs. Okay, and it's called Baby Naps. Okay, producing her Baby Naps wigs. I probably should change the name, but that's just me. Okay, she is going to produce these wigs in, of all places, Haiti. Okay, why is Haiti so important? Okay, one, it's just off the border of the United States. It's very close. It's really close to Jamaica, close to Cuba. It's in Hispaniola. But there's really no reason why America does not do business with Haiti or do a lot of their production of their stuff in Haiti, because it is just, I mean, literally, it's what, Haiti's what, 100 miles from us off our coast? Jamaica is only 90 miles. And so she said that she's going to do that, which is great. Let me read this. One of the greatest breakthroughs in wig design and styling for 2020 was Shirley the Baby Naps wig by Runway Curtis, innovated by Runway Curls, founder and the natural hair queen herself, Mushika. And I'm going to screw your name, so I'm just going to call her MT. Most known for a role in WETV's Cutting It in the ATL, the Baby Naps wig came to the rescue of thousands of women seeking a hassle-free, natural protective style during the pandemic lockdowns. So a lot of women, couldn't go out and get their hair done, so they turned to these wigs. So she is the demand outpaced their capacity, and they could not do this. So she's now producing this wig line in Haiti. Fantastic. I mean, you cannot beat that. To me, that to me is just a great style, and she looks great. So this is if more black entrepreneurs would look to Haiti to produce, to source, to be their workers, you literally could change the face of a nation, because a lot of the work is actually done on the Spanish side. So on the Spanish side, so Haiti Haiti is part of Hispaniola. So on one side of the island is Haiti. On the other side of the island is I forgot the name of the place, but it's the Hispanic side. There's a mountain range that bisects the country, and as a result of that, one side of the country of the continent or the island is doing fairly well. The other side, which is the black side, is not doing very well at all. So I think we can make a big difference in the lives of Haitians, who are basically Jamaicans, who are basically Africans, who are basically us, because many blacks in America actually can trace their ancestry back through Haiti, through Jamaica, to the western part of Africa. So to me, this could be a boon. It could be really a boon, and I think it could be great. Let's do one more story. I know we're running long in this segment because I wanted to get over to a lifestyle thing, but there's another story that I want to talk about, and we're talking about farmers. And farmers in America have done, especially black farmers in America, have been at a disadvantage for many, many years. And let me find this story here. Okay, there it is. So farmers and this story is actually, so the title of the story is After a Century of Land Theft and Exclusion, Black Farmers Finally Getting Government Aid. And this story is the writer, her name is Stacey Brown Media, with the objection of ending systemic racism. The House of Representatives passed 2 bills this week: the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act and the For the People Act in 2021 that attacks voter suppression. Okay, a lot. And so more than a century of land theft and exclusion of black people from government agricultural programs have denied many descendants of enslaved people's livelihoods as independent land-owning farmers. So this story is basically saying that now they're going to begin to open up the coffers of the government to aiding black farmers who have, for literally 100 years, have been working the land down in the South, Midwest, and have just not gotten their portion of aid proportionate to what white farmers are. And you know, I think we focus more on entertainers, basketball players, than we do on the guys who are in the trenches. We pay more attention to runway models than we do really the people who are actually doing the yeoman's work of, just doing some huge, heavy lifting in the world of that makes America great. So I want to take my hat off to these farmers who have just been kind of working their butts off to make things happen. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Once again, if you'd like to hear more about what we're doing, just go to our website, blacksuccessmagazine.com. If you'd like to send me an email, just send it to info@blacksuccessmagazine.com, and you can, I'd love to be able to hear from you. We want to thank everybody who's following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on Apple Podcasts. You're really making the show. So we thank you so much for what you're doing, and you're being a part of the show. Remember, folks, on Thursdays, we won't do it this Thursday because usually on Thursdays we have Financial Thursdays with Robbie Thomas, but we won't do that this way. Robbie is actually celebrating his anniversary, and I don't think he would mind me telling this. So we want to wish Robbie Thomas a happy anniversary, he and his wife. So thank you so much, Robbie, for being a part of the show. But he'll be back again next week and with a special announcement. So I think Robbie's got some good things to tell you about what he is doing. Many of you probably heard about the slutty vegan owner, Pinky Cole. And no, I'm not cussing. So don't get upset. Don't get upset at me. Okay. Her name is Pinky Cole. She has a business called the Slutty Vegan. Okay. I'm sorry. I hate to say it all the time, but it is what it is. So Pinky won an award from Forbes, and the award was, just being just a great entrepreneur, but also she's doing a lot more stuff in her website. And I want to highlight her just again because I think this is she's doing a great job. Her name is Pinky Cole. She was the International Women's Day. Forbes praises the slutty vegan owner Pinky Cole for her philanthropy work. And we talked about this, a couple weeks ago, where we were talking about how she's doing some great work in bringing an awareness to our dietary habits in the Black community, and how important it is that we actually get our thing together. I have cut out sugar in my diet. We have, in my family, we have a history of diabetes. We have a history of a lot of different physical problems. And as I get older, I'm starting to think about it even more and more. Like, maybe I should probably think about the food I eat. And websites like, and I'm not vegan, guys, so don't think I'm vegan. I tend to be vegetable forward. I think it's a little different than being a vegan. I love eating meat. I love eating chicken, pork. Yes, I will eat the swine. I love eating ham. I love eating lamb, that kind of stuff. Goat, curry goat, pretty much any meat except for red meat. I'm not a real big red meat eater, but I will on occasion if it's a really good cut of meat. So sites like this where Pinky Cole is on her site, this vegan, the slutty vegan, great things are on here. She's got all kinds of recipes on here, which is great. She's got this one. It's called the vegan chickpea tuna mayo. So the reason why I bring this up is we're going to segue into another story, and the story is about best foods that are moving forward. You can order proteins online. Now, this is interesting, and that right now they are testing out. It's fake meat, guys. It's really what it is. It's just fake meat. It is not the kind of meat. Hang on. Can you hang on 1 second? I'm sorry. I've got somebody calling me here, and I'm going to mute here just for a second. All right, so hopefully none of you heard what I just said because somebody wanted somebody else's information. So anyways, so it's fake meat that is going out, and they're going to they're test marketing it in Asia, someplace in the Philippines, but they're coming out with chicken nuggets. That's not even real meat. It's meat made in a lab. Ooh. But what they're saying is that because of the fact that it takes so many square feet of land or whatever to create or to feed a cow, chicken, sheep, or whatever it is, that they can produce high quality meat that is not really meat. Okay. It's not really meat, guys. It doesn't moo before it gets to your table. Okay. It sits in a petri dish and they grow it in a petri dish, but it's a meat substitute. And they say it tastes great, looks great, and it's good for you. All right. So that's very interesting, huh? I know. So that story is coming up, and you can order meat online. And I don't know if I'm going to try it. Well, yeah, I will. I'll try it just because I think I personally would like something like that. But that's just me. In our next segment, folks, we're going to talk about decision making. This is really important because many of us have a real problem with making decisions. I think this is going to help you. So when we get back, folks, we are going to talk about decision making, how to make decisions on Black Success Magazine podcast. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. Back in a second. Okay. All right. So let me give you some tips. This is, I worked for a leader at one time. I want to tell you, I'm trying not to give you as much information as I can so you don't know who this person is. I worked for a leader one time, and after each show, after each presentation, this leader would come to me and say, "Hey, was I all right? Was I good?" And I would say, "Wait a minute, this is your gig. Why would you ask me if you're doing all right?" This person had a real low confidence in themselves and their ability to do the things that they were doing. Ultimately, the person actually lost their position. But a lot of it had to do with their inability to make decisions, to make their mind up, to feel confident about what they were doing. We all suffer from this at time to time. Even when I was looking for something to do today for the show, I spent a lot of time, more time than I normally do, figuring out this segment about what we're going to do. It can be crippling. We call it analysis paralysis. We call it, getting stuck, whatever you want to call it. The inability for people to make decisions can be crippling, and it can make you miss out on opportunities that could make a difference in your life. I mean, it really could. So let's talk about 7 ways to make decisions fast. Okay, we're not saying uneducated decisions. We're saying be able to see an opportunity, evaluate it, make a decision. Okay, so number 1, understand the role of emotions in all decision making. Many studies have shown the role your brain plays in decision making. Your amygdala serves as an instinctual guiding light to help us learn what is good for us, i.e., keeps us safe, happy, and secure, and what is not, i.e., any stimulus which poses a threat to our safety and well-being. We attach a different emotion to stimuli. And when you understand that your emotions can actually affect your ability to make decisions, it makes it a little easier for you to say, am I going off of facts or am I going out of emotion? Most people, when they buy things out of emotion. That's why you see these commercials and they say, you've got to buy this. It'll make all the chicks dig you, or it'll make everybody love you so much. They don't always say, hey, guess what? This stuff cleans your hair. Okay. Or this exfoliates your skin. They always say, guess what? Let's attach it to emotion. And that's how they get you to make a decision. I watch a show every once in a while, and it's called, oh gosh, I'm going to mess up the name on it. It's like Adam. It's Adam Hates Everything. And Adam basically goes around exposing all of the marketing ploys that are used on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. And one of them was basically shaving and how you got you to shave, and how Gillette, the manufacturer of the day in those days, used emotion to get women to start shaving, to get America to start shaving, and they used emotion to do it. And this is important that you understand that it had nothing to do with fact, because you're born with hair under your armpits. It's there for a reason. But he got women to believe that if they did not shave, that they were not going to be clean, that they weren't going to be wholesome. And who doesn't want to be clean and wholesome, right? So understand, folks, that emotions play a role in all your decision making. We're going to run out of time, so I'm going to go through the next ones pretty quick. Bring to consciousness the underlying expectations you have when making decisions. We might think we're making decisions which are purely our own, but we aren't. Peer pressure is also not what we're talking about here. We need to learn to identify whether or not we are making choices that subconsciously satisfy culture or societal norm, and seeing if we can separate ourselves from this when we make our decisions. So sometimes we make decisions because, hey, we're black folks. Black folks make decisions like this. Okay. Or because society says we're supposed to make things. Are we doing this because we are doing it for ourselves, or are we doing it to satisfy someone else? A lot of the things I do not fit in with the Black community as a whole. Okay. But that's there's nothing wrong with that. But some people make decisions because they just want to fit in. They want to fit in with the tribe. They want to fit in with the crowd. And it's almost like you're creating the crab mentality for the crabs. Does that make sense to you? We should not be crabs, and we should not be part of the crowd. We're independent thinking people. And that's what makes the Edisons in the world. That's what makes the Elon Musks in the world. We're people on a success track. We're not supposed to be like everybody else. We are the leaders. And you wouldn't be watching this if you weren't a leader. You wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't a leader. You are looking for ways to separate yourself from the crowd so that you can help your society or make money or something like that. Okay. Number 3. So understand that the underlying expectations you have when you're making decisions, are you making them just because of the crowd, or are you making them because you really want to make them? Number 3, making decisions that satisfy your values, principles, and priorities for the long term. So make decisions that satisfy your values, principles, and priorities for the long term. When you do this, you will always feel your decision is right. Are you making your decisions based upon what you feel satisfies your values? Okay. I have a religious perspective on life. I have a moral perspective on life. I don't make my decisions based upon somebody else's religious or moral, compass, because I wouldn't feel good about myself. I mean, it would kill me, as a matter of fact. And I've done that before, where I've said, you know what, I'm going to allow this to happen. And I kicked myself the entire time, just kicked myself. And eventually that thing went away. But during the time that I was involved in whatever I was involved in, I was just kicking myself. So when you make your decisions to satisfy your values, your principles, and your priorities for the long term. Okay, not just for the short term, make it for the long term. Number 4, never make decisions in an unbalanced physical, emotional, or mental state. And this is what they tell people who've just lost a loved one. Don't make any decisions right now. If you lost a loved one, emotionally, you're in a different place. You're just in a different place. There's no reason why you have to say yes right now. That is a decision. People say, make a decision. Okay, I'm going to say no. That's a decision. It's maybe not your decision, but it's my decision right now. My decision right now is to wait. You don't always have to say yes to say you've made a decision. Okay? Your decision could be yes, no, or I'll wait. Okay? Yes, no, or I'll wait. That's all there is to it. Don't feel pressured into making a decision, especially physically. You're not feeling great. You're tired. You're just worn out. Emotionally, you're just excited, especially if you're excited. It's really probably not a great time to make a decision when you're excited. Probably the best thing for you to do, if you're really excited about something, is take a step back. Say, I'll make a decision on that tomorrow when I can look at it clear-headed. Okay, last one, because we're running out of time. Oh, sorry. Ask the question no one is asking. Seek perspectives outside of your own. When all facts of the case seem beamingly positive, ask to be shown the potential downfalls. Okay? Is there an upside to this? Sure. But is there a downside to this? And that's important also. Hey, this has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. I want to thank you for being a part of the show today, folks. We will see you again tomorrow for another show. Start about 8:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, for Black Success Magazine. Thank you once again for being a part of the show. If you'd like to get a hold of us, folks, send me an email, Black Success Magazine, or info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. As always, go to our website, blacksuccessmagazine.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Apple Podcast, where you can find out all about us, folks. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.